Hello everyone, happy Christmas and thanks for tuning in to gpdm on Christmas Day. As it is Christmas, we're going to have a look at a very special weather event that happened in the 20th century in the United Kingdom, the very extreme White Christmas of 1927. It was a real Christmas snowstorm across many parts of England and Wales, one of the heaviest snowstorms actually of the 20th century, and it just happened to occur over Christmas Day. It was a real White Christmas, a proper special White Christmas. Now, before we go on video, I've got to talk about the advertising. I have to do this because it's sports website, so just want to say please play the video ads if you see them. You'll be supporting gadswebviz.com by doing that. So before we get on with Christmas, let's just put December 1927 into context, because it was a very blocked, easterly dominated month, and here we are on the 1st of December 1927 with high pressure over Scandinavia. This was a very common sort of feature of the month, high pressure up to the northeast, bringing in this easy flow. This isn't a particularly cold flow yet, but it's the pattern really that's important, and the pattern was to repeat on and off throughout December 1927, which was a cold month with a central England temperature of 2.1 Celsius. And by the way, can I just say thank you very much to Trevor Harley for supplying me with this information. You can find Trevor Harley's personal weather website, the link to it on my links page, so go to the links page, click on that, and go through to Trevor Harley's site. From my links page, you'll be able to see all of the information that I'm using for this video and all my other historical videos. You'll be able to see the information at Trevor Harley's personal website, a fantastic resource of information for yourself, and the charts are coming from the historic archive of weathercentral.d. Again, you can find Weather Central on my links page. So as we go through towards the 5th of December, we've still got the high pressure being maintained up over Scandinavia. We've got low pressure in the Atlantic. We're bringing up a chilly southerly to southeasterly flow across the country, and what happens as we go through this first week of December is to actually the low pressure in the Atlantic is stalling, coming up against this high pressure to the east. It's stalling, and it isn't able to take the usual west to east flow that you would expect. So by the time you get through to the 7th of December, well, here we are. The high pressure is winning the battle. The low pressure in the Atlantic is being blocked. It's being pushed down to the south and to the southwest. Now again, this isn't particularly cold yet, but it's certainly a chilly start to December, and it's the pattern that's all important. Now, things were to get much colder as we went through towards the middle of the month, and the reason is that this high pressure, which wasn't being supported by blocking over Greenland, starts to get supported by more in the way of northern blocking. But on the 8th here, we're actually in a bit of a no man's land. I just wanted to throw this one in because it's the kind of position that we've been in a lot in the current month that I'm doing this video, December 2012. We've been in this sort of no man's land between low pressure out to west and high pressure to the east quite a lot this month. And just go to show, even back in 1927, we was very often finding ourselves in this sort of position where the high pressure to the east wasn't able to exert quite the influence that was needed to really switch the winds round into the east. But nevertheless, this is still quite a cold sort of start to December. And as I say, things were to get colder as we went on to the middle of the month. The reason is that we start to get this builder pressure up over Greenland, and this low pressure here in the Atlantic is starting to be forced southwards out of the way. So as we go through to the middle of the month, then the high pressure is relocating into a very nice position to start to bring down really cold air out of the Arctic. Instead of sitting over eastern Scandinavia, it's retrogressed out in towards Greenland and around Iceland as well. So now the North Atlantic Oscillation has gone properly negative. We're taking the low pressures to the south. We've got this big blocking area of high pressure to the north, and notice the cold pool over Scandinavia associated with this trough of low pressure. So now we're starting to bring in some very cold air down from the northeast. If we run through the charts through the middle of the month, well, we actually have an area of low pressure coming in off the Atlantic ahead of that, running into that cold air. The cold air is ahead of it. So this gave us widespread snow through the middle of December 1927. And then as we go beyond this, the high pressure re-exerts its influence, and it's bringing in really cold air now out of the east. This doesn't actually show it that well, but if we have a look at the upper air temperatures in a moment, this high pressure here from Scandinavia stretching through Iceland into Greenland was bringing in a very cold air from the east. So just looking at the upper air temperatures, well, here we are on the 15th when we've got that snow event taking place with low pressure running into the cold air. But look at the extent of the severe cold pull up over Scandinavia, and as we run through, well, there comes the cold pull down across the country by the 17th. So we've got the minus 15 isotherm here across many eastern parts of England, minus 20 HPA air, getting perilously close to the south and to the southeast. So a really cold, severely cold air as we go through towards the middle of December 1927, and no doubt this very cold and extensive, severely cold pool of air would have been producing snow in many eastern parts of the country through that middle period of the month. That was really the end of the severe upper air temperatures, though, because then things start to moderate as we move beyond the middle of the month into the third week of the month. This low pressure in the Atlantic starts to move in, starts to attack. We're beginning to lose the blocking area of high pressure to the northeast. On the 20th, we've got this cold southeast wind, no doubt heavy snow heading into the southwest, and then as we move in towards the 21st, we actually start to get a push of milder Atlantic air moving in. Again, this would have been producing snow across the country on the 21st, but milder air is establishing. And by the time we get through to the 22nd, then we're into a proper mild Atlantic flow here across the country. So if we have a look at the upper air temperatures, well, that severe cold pull has gone, and now just about all parts of the country are back into much milder Atlantic dominated air. So at the time, I suspect most people would have thought that was the end of the cold weather, but it most certainly wasn't, because we moved through to the 23rd of December, that low pressure that brings that push of Atlantic air is starting to move through, and we've still got enough blocking, and the legacy of cold air is still left up here over the northeast. So we've still got enough blocking, and with the cold air as well, we start to re-establish that cold push of air from this low pressure as it starts to move away to the east. And this here in the Atlantic is the low pressure that gave us the snowstorm for Christmas. So as we move through to Christmas Eve, that first low pressure is moving out in towards Denmark. The next low pressure is waiting in the wings in the Atlantic. And yeah, we're starting to bring down much colder air again in towards Scotland and northern England. So looking at the upper air temperatures, well, there's the -5 isotherm coming back into Scotland, Northern Ireland and northern England. And the milder air further south is beginning to dissipate as well, starting to slip away southwards. Remember, anywhere between the 0 Celsius isotherm and the -5 isotherm can get snow in frontal situations. So as we move through into Christmas Day, this is midnight on Christmas Day, here comes the area of low pressure pushing up from the southwest, running into that cold air, establishing from the north, and the result was the snowstorm. So the snowstorm of Christmas Day 1927 did produce some very heavy snow indeed across many parts of the country. Wales, the Midlands, East Anglia had snow right the way through Christmas Day from start to finish. There was many inches of snow on the ground. Further south, actually, it was rain through much of Christmas Day itself, because we was over 0 Celsius at 850 HPA. So once you're in this yellow area here, you'll tend to get rain, but that was falling onto frozen surfaces in some places and producing ice. But through Christmas Day itself, it was really Wales, the Midlands and into East Anglia that we got some very heavy snow, persistent snow storm through those areas on Christmas Day. Day. And then as we went through towards Christmas night, so into the evening of Christmas Day and into Christmas night, then the cold air dug further and further southwards, and that rain turned to snow then through the evening and overnight on Christmas night across southern parts of the country. So we had 2 feet of snow by the end of Christmas night across Kent, and even in the Chilterns there was 20 inches of snow. Big snow drifts in many parts of southern England, and that snow, as I say, was really quite severe indeed. It was one of the heaviest snow events across southern England through the course of the 20th century, one of the most severest snow events across southern England, and it happened to occur over Christmas. As we run through towards Christmas, towards Boxing Day, this is midnight Boxing Day, so this is like from Christmas night into Boxing Day. You can see what's happened. The low pressure has deepened to the south of the country. This is a very classic channel low. We talk about the channel low a lot on weather forums, the much fabled channel low. This is a classic example of why people get so excited about the channel low. It can be an exciting weather event in winter, because on the northern side, if you've got a legacy of cold air, you get this gale force northeasterly wind, and you produce lots of snow with the low pressure in the channel providing the energy for the snow, and the cold northeasterly wind provides the drifts and the cold air. So this is a classic sort of example of a channel low running through the English Channel, producing heavy snow for England and Wales. So here we are on Christmas night into Boxing Day, and we've got this strong northeast wind whipping up the snow. The rain is turning to snow even across far southern and southeastern parts of the country. So many places in the south were cut off. Salisbury Plain, Chilterns, we get a lot of places cut off. Trees being brought down, overhead wires being brought down, villages being cut off. Many inches of snow, feet drifts in terms of 2-3 feet of snow drifts in some places. So a really severe snowstorm with this area of low pressure, a classic white Christmas. Now, as we move beyond this, we find the low pressure clearing away, and then the high pressure starts to build in over the cold ground for a while, giving us some very, very severe frost. But moving out towards the end of the year, the high pressure is still trying to keep going over Scandinavia, but the Atlantic is showing signs of breaking the pattern as we go into the new year. The high pressure breaks down over Scandinavia. We establish this westerly flow, and the rest of the winter of 1927-1928 was very mediocre indeed. There was hardly any cold weather for the rest of the winter. It was a pretty mild January and February, very wet through January 1928. And the rapid thaw actually caused a lot of flooding, and famously the Houses of Parliament stank of rotten fish from that thaw of the snow and the flooding that it caused. So the Houses of Parliament were flooded out in the new year, and many places had flooding in the new year of 1928 as that snow, all of the snow melted away. But certainly it was a very, very interesting Christmas. Didn't carry on for the rest of the winter, but certainly we had the cold December and the very wintry Christmas, one of the classic white Christmases of the 20th century. But there hasn't been many through the 20th century, not deep snow actually falling on Christmas Day. It's one of the things that we missed out on in 2010. Actually, we had that lovely, severely cold Victorian Christmas. I say it's lovely because I enjoy the cold weather. Many people don't, but it was a very cold December in 2010. I'm sure you remember it very well. A lot of snow fell through the month, and there was a lot of snow on the ground. Really sort of Dickensian type Christmas Day, severely cold with snow on the ground, but we didn't have much snow falling. And it's one of the things that we missed out on for that month. And there haven't been that many, actually, through the 20th century days with snow falling. 1970, 1938, and then 1927. But certainly it's a very unusual occurrence. And to that extent that we had in 1927, very, very rare occurrence indeed. Maybe one of these years it'll happen again. I'd like to see it, I'm sure you would too. But I hope you found the video interesting. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your Christmas day. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.